Hey guys, Preferred Funding Group, PFG Academy, episode 2. Today's topic is all about credit worthiness, and how we determine whether a client qualifies or doesn't qualify. So we've found that there's a lot of misconceptions in the world of credit. A lot of people don't fully understand how their credit works, or what they qualify for or what they don't qualify for. So we thought this video would be super informative, not only for our affiliates, but also for our potential clients or current clients, to be able to understand how we came to the determinations that we did. So if you remember, our minimum criteria credit-wise is 680 credit scores across the board in all three bureaus. So what that means for us is that we need your Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion to be 680 scores or better in order for us to take a look. So that's probably misconception number one, is that most people don't understand that your credit scores are really just an indicator for lenders. So what your credit score tells us is that whatever's on your credit, if you have 680 scores, whatever's on your credit is likely conducive with what we need to see in order to be able to lend to you. So it's really just an indicator for us. 9 times out of 10, it means that you're going to qualify. So rather than us marketing, hey, here's these 10 things we look at on your credit that are going to determine if you qualify or not, it's just much easier to say, if you're 680 or above, send it to us. Let us look at it, and we'll tell you if you qualify, and if so, what you qualify for. So from a marketing perspective, that's just a lot easier. And 9 times out of 10, it's accurate. The rest of your report is in alignment with your scores, and we're good to go. So scores are just an indicator. If you have 680 across the board, send it to us. Let us take a look at it. Now, as far as what we're looking at in your credit report, these are all checks and balances things. Not one of these things is just going to totally disqualify you. So when I'm rattling these things off, don't be discouraged. Still send in your report. These are just things that we look at that help us to determine, based on these checks and balances, what category you fall into lending-wise and interest rate-wise. This is what's going to determine what you qualify for and what your rate is. Okay, so there's a handful of things that we look at. We look at age of credit history. How old's your credit? We want 7 years or more, ideally, of credit history. So if you have 7 years or more of credit history, you're golden. Sometimes we'll go as low as 5, but again, it's one of those checks and balances thing. It's not ideal, but 7 years or more is good to go. We want to see your utilization, your credit utilization on your revolving accounts be less than 30%. So that's your balances as opposed to your limits. So what's your total balances as opposed to your total limits? That percentage, we need to be below 30%. Anything above 30% is deemed excessive, and that's why you'll see your scores drop as you go above 30%, because the credit reporting agencies feel the same way about that utilization being higher risk when you get above that 30%. So we need your utilization to be below 30%. Ideally, we'd like to see that you have mortgage history. If you have a mortgage, you're always better off than if you don't. Even if your mortgage is closed, you have that history of having a mortgage in the past. So we'd ideally like to see mortgage history. So you got you got age of credit history being 7 years or more. You got utilization being 30% or less. You got mortgage history as a big bonus. Another big thing is inquiries. We need to see 3 or less inquiries in the past 12 months per bureau. So anything above 3 per bureau in the last 12 months is deemed excessive. Doesn't disqualify you, just doesn't look the best that you have more inquiries than you should. And the theory behind that, it's not really a theory, it's practice, but the banks are looking at you like you're shopping around, and it's just not what they want to see as far as an inquiry pattern. So inquiries 3 or less per bureau. And then the other major thing is we'd like to see, for as far as depth of credit goes, 2 things factor into depth of credit. Do you have a mortgage, past or present? We went over that. The other big thing that factors into depth of credit, not age of credit, depth of credit, is do you have high limit accounts with major banks? Have banks like Chase, Wells Fargo, B of A, etc. Have these big banks given you big limit cards? This proves that you have a track record of being able to handle a high level of financing without defaulting or being late or having bad payment history of any sort. So this is really big for banks in making their decision is, okay, if this guy got a $25,000 card from Chase, well, we have no problem lending to him as well because he's proven himself as trustworthy. So that really, as funny as that sounds, that's really how you're judged in the credit world. And that definitely adds a lot of weight to the strength of your credit if you have those higher limit accounts. And then lastly, we just like to see no derogatory history. If you have derogatory history, again, checks and balances, it does not disqualify you. But preferably, we'd like to see that you have no derogatory history. So 30-day late, 60-day late, charge-offs, collections accounts, and bankruptcies, those are not ideal. It's okay if you have them. You still may qualify, but ideally, you don't have those. They're definitely going to affect how much you get. They're definitely going to affect your interest rate. So it's better not to have them. Usually what we tell people is, hey, here's what you qualify for with them. Here's what you would qualify for without them. And here's a resource to get them removed if you can. So we try to always be helpful in that realm from a consulting perspective and help people to get on the right track with their credit. So for us, again, just in reiteration, what we are looking for in a client is 680 and above credit scores, low to zero inquiries in the past 12 months, 7 years or more of credit history, 30% or less utilization, mortgage history, high limit credit cards, and no derogatory information on your credit. And there's a big difference for us between somebody who is 820 credit scores with $30,000 major bank cards, a history of mortgages, no late payments, 30 plus years of credit history. There's a big difference between that individual and the individual that has 710 scores, 5 years of credit history, biggest credit card is $5,000. Both of those people may get qualified, but one may get exponentially more than the other. And that's the big difference that most people don't understand about their credit is that you're not just a score. The score is not determining what you receive. It's never the score. It's always what's inside your report. And the stronger you can make yourself look, the better off you are forever. Your credit's a tool. So if you make it strong now, you're going to carry it with you the rest of your career and the rest of your journey of being an entrepreneur, and you'll be able to use it as a tool to be able to get whatever type of funding you need quickly. Because now you're in a different category. You're already in A paper, but you want to be at the top, uncommon amongst the uncommon. You want to be at the top of the credit criteria and really be able to get that higher level of lending in the future. And we're here to help. We coach people on a daily basis on how to make their credit even stronger and come back to us. And that's what we're here for. So don't ever hesitate to reach out to your consultant in the office. And also, please keep these topics coming so that we can keep banging out these videos for you. If you have any topic you want us to cover, do not hesitate to tell your consultant in the office, and we'll do our best to get these out as quickly as possible so that everybody has these as a tool and a resource moving forward. So hope you enjoyed. I hope it was educational, at least a little bit. If there's anything else you want us to touch on, let us know. And until next time, thanks, guys.